Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Sunday. Where's my controls? There's my controls. Ooh, camera could be a little. All right, so it is a good Sunday today. We are planning on continuing working on the chat versus streamer game. Like last night, sometime yesterday, I believe, we got some changes. I guess it's not really like changes. I think there's maybe one pull request, but the rest of them are comments or new issues on the game from DannyFritz. Let's take a look at some of these. So here's new pull request from DannyFritz. It's change the window title. Okay, so change the window title. Change it from. Okay, so we're adding in window setup as opposed to just window mode. And then here in window setup, default title, get the streamer. Oh, hey, hello. Nope, that's my water. You can't have that. I have to move that away. My water for after my tea runs out. He, like most cats that I know, likes to drink out of people's cup. Okay, so we have the context builder new get the streamer, but then also we have this window title get the streamer too. All right, so I think that's good. What we can do is we can test this really quickly by so where's all the pull requests? Open issues. Okay, here's the pull request. So change window title is right here. Yep, check that out. So here's window title. I should be able to open this in VX Code and run it. Actually, we can do the new test. So cargo test. I'm actually curious whether or not the test exists. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, so he added this after the test came in. And so we can see, oh, I still see an easy good game here at the top title. So I don't think that actually worked. Let's go take a look at main.rs and see what's going on here. So we have get the streamer game coming in as Windows setup, streamer game. That's interesting. I would have thought that would have worked myself. I'm kind of surprised it didn't. Well, I suppose we can take a screenshot of that and yeah, that's all I can really do is take a screenshot of that and then I guess put that in the ticket saying like, hey, it didn't actually do the thing. At least on my computer. So let's go ahead and we're in here. Let's run this again. so it created the screenshot. Where did it create you? What's today's date? Today is the 25th. There you are. Oh, it took a screenshot of both the screens. Oh, okay. So I need to crop you. That. Okay, so crop that. Save a copy. All right. There you are. That's the one. Okay, so then I want to take this and respond. Okay, so still got an easy good game in the game title. Okay, attached files are dragging and dropping or selecting and pasting them. Okay, so I should be able to take you. Just pull you in. Oh, you know what? You know what? Hold on. Hold on. That's because test. Hold on. Let's try running it for real. I think that's our problem. If I run it for real, I bet that runs. I bet it's the test that needs to be updated. Yeah, okay, now we can see get the streamer. Okay. So never mind. Actually, can I just edit this? Edit. Delete that. I want to strike through. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then let's go ahead and bring it in. And then what I can do is I can add this into the test one, no problem. So let's go ahead and merge this in. And so let's see, let's come back to here, head back to master, and delete you. I'm surprised you haven't found. I need to pull. Okay. And then also I need to update. I need to update this inside of. So we need this window setup in the test area too. So copy you, we're gonna go to our tests, go to offline test, and so we have this sort of main here. We have this window mode, and so we're gonna add window setup as well. So re-import that, and then everything should be good here. I should be able to now run this as a test. And then that should work with the updated title. Yep, exactly. Okay, so get the stream. Perfect, perfect. So we'll view the change, stage this, and we'll just updated game title in test. I guess this is the integration test. And we'll go ahead and push that. Okay, so we have that done. That's 1 of 4. Okay, we have a pull request. Oh, to add some sound effects. Ooh, nice. So this changes 8 files. Okay, so it updates the license. Looks like we're using the Kenny asset pack for this, or like some of Kenny's assets. Oh, and it's Creative Commons, so that's good. So that means we can play it on stream and on YouTube. Perfect, perfect. Let's go ahead and that is viewed. Okay, so we have phase jump, phaser up, 3-tone, and zap. So we have some more assets here. In credits, Danny added himself. Nice, nice. In the main library, so we're bringing in GGEZ audio and sound source and object sound audio source. Player physics system. Okay, so we have to pass in the context now when we're creating a new player physics system. Okay, so that way when things happen, you know, physics-wise, the physics system can then play the sound, I'm guessing. So object sound audio source new, 3-tone unwrap. Okay, so then down here, if let some command equals command, self the object sound play. Okay, so that's when a command gets created. Yeah, okay. We play whatever that object sound is when it sort of comes into being. All right, that sounds good. For the player physics, we have a heart sound, a jump sound, and a hit sound. So we're gonna store in the heart sound, the jump sound, the hit sound. Those are just sort of grabbed right here. I think that's all fine. Okay, so when we press space, so we're jumping, then play the jump sound. However, if we lose, if we gain life, we play the heart sound, and if we lose life, we play the hit sound. Nice, nice. Okay, so that's basically just... All right, let's actually try this. So this is number 40. We've got sound there, and then I need to check my OBS to make sure. Advanced audio properties for desktop, they're down. Yeah, okay, that's going to the VOD tracks. That way you can hear the music, but you can also should be able to hear all of these. So let's go ahead and pause you. Okay, so we have no music. We should be able to play this now. Let's do a cargo test and see what this ends up sounding like. Oh, that didn't work. All right, what happened? The system cannot find the file specified. Oh, did we change main too? Did that get changed? Because I see all these sounds here. Let's try it normally. Okay, that's working. So I need to figure out what's going on there. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's drop some things like a snake. Nice. And then if we drop a heart. Nice. Okay. So I think that's pretty good. And then basically we have sounds when things drop. Now what we want to figure out is what's going on with the test, because that would be really nice to be able to test like when things are getting really busy. And how does that sound? Can I drop like okay, so I can't do it fast enough on my own. Let's figure out what's going on with this. So in the main game, it doesn't feel like I'm giving them anything here. Oh, you know why? The assets need to be copied over. That's why. And I don't think, yeah, that's all part of the get ignore stuff. So really, all I need to do is take these OG sounds and copy them over into the appropriate assets directory. So that'll probably be easier if I open this up in Windows Explorer. Okay, so I need, what do I need? Probably not target assets. We need just plain old assets here. I want to sort this. Sort by type. Okay, so here's all these OG files. I want to copy you. And then we want to go into target, debug, dependencies. Oh, but okay, so it's not in that target debug dependencies. It's in the Rust workspace, target debug dependencies, resources here. Paste you in. Okay, so now, so cargo run, cargo test, and we should get the same. Now we should get the sounds working for all these. Oh yeah. I think that's working. It makes it very easy to tell when I've been hit, as opposed to having to check Slack. So I think that's successful and good. If we take a look at Get Kraken, yeah, there's nothing updated there. So this is looking good to me. Let's come back into here. We'll approve. It takes us back in here. Note that running cargo test, the sound assets also need to be copied to the, what is it? Target, debug, depths, resources directory. This is sounding great. Thanks, Danny. And we'll go ahead and that and merge this in. All right, and we're done with this one. Okay, we also have, this is functional promises. This isn't this one. So functional promises is a JavaScript library that's basically making promises functional. It's by actually Dan Levy, who did a meetup talk with us for the Node.js. But I'm not having to pay attention to this. I'm a member of that repo, but I haven't really done anything with it. Okay, so allow for standard QWERTY controls too. So yes, I run on a Colmac keyboard, and you may see me every once in a while, like suddenly things don't work anymore, and I'm almost as if I'm typing, crazy like. That's because I've usually accidentally set myself back to US keyboard. I have it easily to switch with Command Space, so I can go back and forth for gaming purposes. But every once in a while, I hit that combination by accident, or Zilby comes and walks across the keyboard and switches it. So this should be a fairly simple change. Yeah, we're just adding in if it's S and D, as opposed, along with this. So if we go ahead and test this out, I guess first of all, let's clean up this. Maybe. Maybe. We can try again. All right, switch back to master. Are you thinking about it? Let's try here. Get status, get branch. Okay, so we're on the sound branch. Check out master. Oh, is there? Is it a Git problem and not a Git Kraken problem? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let's try completely exiting VS Code and doing this in the good old terminal window. Okay, so I want Documents, code, works builds, Rust workspace, streamer game. Okay, so then in this one we want to, CD instead of CG would be helpful. Okay, so get branch, we're on sound, checkout. Maybe? Huh, I wonder why it's having trouble checking out master. I don't want to reboot the computer. I've got streaming going off this computer. Well, that's fun. There's there's like a git. Can I do like -v or something like that for verbose mode? No, I don't see like a verbose mode. I don't see like a force it. We can try. Okay, let's try doing this inside of Ubuntu in a WSL. See if maybe its version of Git is going to be happier. Okay, so Git status. Ooh, okay, so we have all these modified. That's a problem. Why did you not see that as modified? I want to. Okay. Okay, so then you're clean now. Okay, now we're on the master branch. So for some reason, all of these were modified, and now we're on the master branch, and now we can see this. I didn't see that it was telling us that there's a bunch of modified files in either of the Windows sides. So that was kind of odd. But I'm glad we were able to switch over and fix that problem. Let's go ahead and clean you up. All right, so we want to allow for standard QWERTY controls as well. Oh, and I closed you, so let's reopen our editor. And we should be able to cargo test this. So what this means is I should be able to run this game both in both of these modes. So we'll do Comax first to make sure this still works. All right, perfect. Able to get that going. And I should be able to switch over. And yeah, this still works on the new layout, or the QWERTY layout. So perfect. That seems like it's working exactly as planned. Okay, so let's see if I can go back here. I want to go back to the master branch. I want to remove QWERTY branch and download the latest. Okay, so we're good there. And then finally, the final pull request. We have the improve README. So let's take a look here. So we have the README and a screenshot. Oh, nice. Okay, so what does this look like? Okay, so we have instead of install Rust stable at. Okay, so how do we install Rust? Set up your .env file. So it's your token. You can get by visiting this one and creating a new application. Oh, I forgot that you have to create a new application. Yeah, that's true. Run the game. Cargo run. Okay, so I think that's looking good to me. I'm curious what that screenshot looks like. So I think what we can do is come back here and take a look at it. Yeah, okay, so this is fine. This is a perfectly fine screenshot. So I've never tried this. How can I create what is it? Oh, I forgot the alternate video format that's just really a bunch of screenshots. There's JPEGs, there's PNGs, and there's GIFs. How can I use a? Can I create a GIF from like a OBS, like an OBS recording? Because if I can, then I can probably create like I can run the test, sort of like show it being played. But I think this is looking good. Let's come back to our pull request here. And we'll go ahead and merge this in. All right. So no more pull requests, no more issues to look at. And then there's nothing showing that we need to look at it here. So I think we're ready to continue on. One thing I want to do, because there a bunch of files just got hit with that. I want to pull down the latest master and then update this branch that we have with master. So let's go ahead and merge master into this branch. And I'll go ahead and push that up. Perfect. So now everything should still be happy and running here. Let's go ahead and connect our Twitch highlighter. So what were we working on? I didn't get a chance to investigate where where that file is living. Utsby, hello. You use screen to GIF for general screen capture to GIF for twittering and such. Ooh. Oh, there's like a portable version. Oh, nice. Okay, so then I could just run that instead of having to full install it. But but that has like more features. Okay, cool. I will. I need to be in the right keyboard mode to actually capture that URL. And okay, I got that. I got that down in my my to do. Thank you, Utsby. Okay, so where were we? Where did we leave off? We left off with us. We created a new file, and I think that was created in the main library. So we have update save scores. So load save scores from disk. So we have this in the utilities. We have load scores, right? And so then we're running into this right here, where we have this this crash happening. is unimplemented here. So if we run this, cargo, actually, cargo test will run all of these. So that's going to be something interesting. Flint Rusty, hello. So it panicked at not yet implemented in utilities line 18. So it panicked here, which means that it found this file name. That's actually really kind of weird because we couldn't find the file that it created. And I ran the entire search and that didn't work. Let's I'm gonna do, what did we call this file? Let's give it a really good name, like something really unique. But I can't remember if I actually finished answering how things are going. Things are going well. It's a Sunday. It's snowing outside, which is like, this feels like the more appropriate time to snow instead of like last time, which was still in the summer technically. So it's a good day to sort of stay indoors and be warm. So let's call this like scores, like high scores get the streamer. Okay, so if I save that, and then we're going to run this, it should technically work. And then all we're trying to do here, so if we go back to utilities, all we're trying to do is, if the file system exists, we want to load that up. Otherwise, we create this new hash map. If we create the new hash map, that comes back to the main library down here. So we get the scores hash map. We insert just Berserker and 5, just that static. Then we run debug, update save scores. Then we go to save scores. We don't actually care about what's being passed in here. Instead, we just sort of write all these about to open file for writing. We create this file wherever it is. We write literally the words, some bytes to it, and then we finish writing it. And that's it. Then the game, like, I guess, continues. And this is I think we're doing this in the first frame of the game. So it happens right away. So perfect. We need to go figure out where it went, though. Okay, so Flint Rusty, you redeemed Ask a Technical Question. You've learned JavaScript, HTML, and CSS basics. Is that enough to land a front-end job? So, I mean, there's two ways to answer that. Yes, those are the skills that you would need to get a job for the most part. But it gets a little bit tricky because each company has unique needs, and you have to prove value to them in order to land a front end job. So really, I would say, like, to be able, like, the basics of JavaScript, HTML, CSS allows you to do the work at the job, but getting the job is a completely different skill set, unfortunately. So like, there's the you have to prove value in the interview process, and that's actually really hard. So yes and no at the same time. It's kind of weird. If you do a lot of networking and you can get like an in to a company, that will actually help out a lot because you can maybe find out what the interview process is going to be and what they're going to ask you, and you can study up on those things, and that will potentially give you a leg up on getting the job. I guess what I'm saying is yes, but it's not the only thing you need. You need to find out what you need to learn continuously for the interview process itself. And that's the really tough part. Does that answer your question, Flint? In the meantime, let's run this. I'm going to do a standard normal run. So we're going to do cargo run, and we're going to see where this ends up going. Maybe. We've given it a pretty unique name here. Yes, partly. Yeah, like it's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so we got an error here. So what happened? So we got to did it right. Okay, so here's what happened. We got to update save scores in the main library on line 203. So we got that. So we did the load scores that gave us a new hash map because it couldn't find the file. Then we inserted into scores, so we got update save scores. Then we got about to open file for writing, so that's in here. About to open file for writing. Then about to write to file, so we created this file, about to write to file. Then we got did it right. Okay, so we got down here. So we successfully ran. We didn't get an error printing out at this point in time. However, neither did we get wrote some bytes to the file. That's interesting. We didn't get either of these. Oh, weird. Then we panicked at not yet implemented because, okay, it ran it like multiple times. It tried to run it again, and it tried to open up the file for writing. So if you continue to learn React.js, should you be good to go? It's more complicated than that, Flint, unfortunately. You can continue to learn technical skills, and that's great and all. But to get a job, you need to prove to the company that you want to get a job at that you can provide value to them that's greater than the cost of hiring you, and greater than anybody else who is trying to be hired by them, if that makes sense. So let's say that they put out a job post, and there's 10 people who apply, and like in reality, a lot more people to apply. This could be hundreds of people. You want to try to be number one on their list. It's like when they look through you, they interview everybody else, and then they say, you know what, Flint Rusty is the person to go with. Let's hire them. So yes, you need ways to prove that you can provide value to them. So they're going to look at, they're going to potentially look at your projects. They're going to potentially look at your GitHub, your LinkedIn, your resume, your in-person challenges that you do with them at interviews. All of that gets put together to try to form a picture of who you are. Are you going to provide value? Are you going to be a net gain for the company? And are you going to be a higher net gain than somebody else? It's really unfortunate. That's sort of like how it ends up being, as opposed to, hey, let's just like, talk to you, make sure that you have a good culture fit, and then sort of we'll go with there, because there's no such thing as like a single source of truth for like quality in our industry, unfortunately. So making some projects, absolutely great idea. That'll make it so that you could both show off what you can do, but it'll also make it that you can talk to in the interview about technical things, and sort of like, oh yeah, in my project I ran into this problem and this is how I solved it. That shows that's really, really good to be able to do. But other things like the networking thing is super important. You need to be able to like have somebody advocating for you in the inside. I guess you don't have to. It helps a lot, because if that happens and like you're tied with somebody else, it's random if they're going to choose you. But if you have somebody advocating for you, you're always going to be chosen. Also, if somebody else is getting somebody advocating for them, then it's really hard to get around that. Applesauce. You'll always be a net gain to me. That's good for everyone here as part of this community. Also, you redeemed pet the cat. So let's go ahead and move this. Kitty cat is over here on my other notebook. He has good taste because that's a Linux notebook. And we'll definitely pet the kitty. Networking wise, something that I recommend for everyone, regardless what level you're at, is attend meetup talks, and all, especially in your area, but also um, try try speaking at a meetup talk. I know you might feel that you're a beginner and you can't like actually do that, but try to speak at a meetup talk. Like speak to juniors, speak to somebody else. There's a lot of really good reasons to do that. Um, a lot of like psychological stuff that happens there that will help out when searching for a job. What's the cat's name? Cat's name is Zilby. Let me type that out. Zilby, and then my wife recently renamed to have the E be. I don't know how to do it. Nope. Nope. I don't know how to do. She wanted the E to have two little dots above it. I don't know the keyboard command to get that. And that's mostly for the pronunciation. The E is supposed to be hard. So Zilby. Does that help, Flint? Oh yeah, he is super cute. He has grown a lot too. We've been um starting from like the first, I think the second day we got him from the shelter. He's been hanging out with us on stream. And this morning he is tired. Um, my cat has an umlaut. Yes, an umlaut, which I don't know how to like add in. Like I'm gonna need to figure out the umlaut and then copy and paste like the name when I use it. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. It's tough to break in, especially for the first job, because afterwards you can say like, look, my value, I've proven value to these other companies, um, but like the challenges change. Like getting like it's always hardest to get the first job. After that, the challenges change, but they're slightly easier. Um, so good luck. If you do get a job, let us know. We'd be happy to celebrate with you when that day happens, which I am sure is going to happen. Also, try your hardest to get it before Christmas time. December is a really tough time to get jobs because a lot of companies' budget systems end in November and they take a break and then they start back up in January or February again. So, like a lot of companies run out of budget and don't actually have the ability to hire during that time, which really sucks. Okay, so this created the file. Like the file is there somewhere, and we're looking for this name. High scores get the streamer. So I'm gonna start with coming over here. Let's see. Let's go all the way down into. Okay. So in there, I'm gonna do this off-site in case like there's something weird showing up. I'm gonna do a find. Is it like find dash name? Oh no, it's find dot dash name. High scores get the streamer. So that's going to go ahead and work on all that stuff, and there'll be a bunch of permission denied, but we'll see whether or not it can find anything. Um, Ooh. Okay, no, I found something. Okay, so app data roaming. Oh, okay. So it found it over here. So let's not downloads. Documents. Oh no, no, it's not in documents. It's in my home directory. So hold on. Where okay. Users secret. Okay, so then in here there's app data. It's in here. Roaming. Then Brooks Patton. Get the streamer. Config. Oh, here they are. Here's these two files. So if I open them up, just open up a notepad. Here we have some bytes. And scores should also have the same thing. We have some bytes. Okay, so this is where it's putting it. So theoretically, it's placing these files according to wherever it's supposed to be, depending upon your operating system. So if it's in, like it puts it here in Windows, if we ran this in Linux, it would put it into like .config, I think, area. And on Mac, it puts it into application, like library application support, I think, supposedly. So that's nice to know. Like that's where it's going. So if I change this to high scores, we now know exactly where it's going to go. That's fine. We can come back to here. Well, now that we know that, I can clear out the file every single time. Let's actually we wanted to write this out to the file. Okay, so what are we doing here? How do I want this file to look? Like that might be helpful. Where's my notepad? Did I close it? Okay, so I probably want this to be serialized in some way. So we can say something like, I want Berserker, like :5. Something like username, delimitator, and then the score that they have. And then every single time that we run this, we're gonna rewrite it. So I can always have it be in like alphabetic order, or maybe it doesn't even matter at all. It's gonna be a hash map, so the order probably, I can't guarantee the order, so that's fine. Oh, it's Alt 137, by the way. Ooh. Alt 137. Huh. Do I have to do it in this? Alt 137. Ooh, no, that didn't like that. Alt 3. Yeah, that opens up a new tab window for me. Okay, so maybe not that. Maybe numlock. And then I can do Alt 1-3. Oh, okay, that got it. Now I'm able to do that. So my keyboard doesn't have a numpad, so I have to like press the function key, then press numlock, then I can like type on the right-hand side of the keyboard. So that's not super easy to do, but I suppose we can add that in. All right. So if I want something like this, then new line, and it will be somebody else. So let's say like Utspeak. And then you would be like Add it to your spell checkers. Oh. Spell check? I don't know how to add spell check in like Windows. Might have to look into that later. Or can I do something like zil be like that. Right click. Huh. Okay, there. Now right click. Add to dictionary. Now if I try this again. Oh, that doesn't add it in as like a potential word that it could be. Oh, that's too bad. I was kind of like hoping that that would now do it, so I can now type that in. Oh, that's kind of sad. I'll have to look into like how to like properly get that in. Maybe I'll just create a I can create like a macro maybe on the keyboard to do that. That might be interesting. I haven't done too many of those things with this keyboard, which I can create like a new macro. I could remap some stuff. I just don't know which key I want to like do that for. All right. So if this is what we want it to be, and then I want it to end right here, then we can process. Okay, we can process in and save it out. So if I do that, then so the first thing that happens, we're gonna come in here. We're gonna do a hash map new. That comes back to here. We insert Berserker and 5. Then, so I don't need this anymore. We know it's happening. We know these things are happening properly. Okay, so then we attempt to save the scores to disk. So with this Berserker 5, in save scores, we take in the scores. We know that you're working. We need to serialize the hash map in some way to like print out into bytes. And I think that we looked at, see, was there like a macro we could use for that, or do I have to create like a new function to do that? Can also this be work with strings? I think it can. Oh, and I probably like if I want a delimiter like this, I could create the scores to write out just using format essentially. So if I do let move, I guess this is like the scores hash map. If I want to write this out to file, we can do a, let's see, serialize scores or serialize hash map. And we're going to pass in the scores. And then that means down here, we're going to need a file, a function, serialize hash map. You need to be a hash map. This is already a reference to it, so this is going to be a reference to a hash map that has a string and a U128 in it. And we are going to return a bytes. I wonder if that's going to work. I doubt it's going to work. I can do that. You need to be a buff. Huh. What are you? Okay, you're a reference to U8s. That's all that is. You're a reference to U8s. U8, like that. So I want to create probably a string of these and sort of like stitch them all together with new lines between them using our colon delimiter. So what would that look like? We're going to do a let mute. This is going to be sort of like our raw output. So our output equals a brand new string that's empty right now. We're going to loop through our hash map. I suppose I should actually look at hash map to see if there's anything that just does this for me. If do any of you know if there's like anything that just does this magically for me? There's probably a crate that does this too. We want to now loop through our hash map and add to this. So let's do for in. So I think it's the key and value. So we're gonna get the username. Yeah, we'll do username and then the points in hash map. So yeah, we get a reference to a string and then a points in there. And then what I want to do is I want to add into this output this sort of style here. So we're going to do output dot push. Oh, okay. It appends a given character to the end of the file. So I don't want a character dot push string. Appends a given string slice onto the end of this string. Okay, so that's perfect. So then I want, okay. So let's just push string, and this is going to be username. I want to then push, so output dot push. The character is going to be this colon. And then the points. So push string, and then we want the points. Now, that's not going to work, is it? Because you're not a string. Yeah, you need to be a reference to a string. So I need to convert you. I don't think I can do something like dot into. Yeah, because it doesn't know how to do that. There's no like convert into for string slice. So I probably need to first create this. It's like let we can shadow points and like change it. So equals format points. That turns it into a string. So then I can do a reference to points here. And then we want to, and then we want to give it the new line. So I can actually do this right here at the very end. New line. And I think we want RN. So return and then new line. Okay, so that gives us this output string, and then I want to return B output. Does that work? Can I find value? Okay, no, I can't do it quite as easily as that. So I want to convert this into bytes. I think that's just output dot as bytes. Okay, yeah, it returns a reference to this, but cannot return value referencing local variable, returns output is borrowed here. And utility use line 57. Okay, yeah, so I want to, So we create a new output. Oh, wait, no, we created an output here. I think what we're going to need to do is bring in output as part of this. So this is going to be our bytes essentially. No, let's just make it like the string that's going to be, so like the serialized output. And we're going to say that you are going to be a string, and probably you need to be a mutable reference to a string. We're not going to return anything. We're just going to mutate that output here. So we're just going to push into output. And then that means serialized hash map. So we need the new string here. So let mute. This is going to be the serialized scores equals string new. And we're going to pass that into, see, where did you go? Oh, serialized hash map now needs to actually be outside of here. We just need to run it. You need to be a mutable reference being passed in. Okay, so that's happy there. You're not happy, so we need now the serialized scores dot as bytes, and then you're happy. Okay, so then that should actually, print that out here, and so then our did it right. All of that should now work just fine. Now that we know exactly where it's going, if I run this again now, we should see Brookzerker and 5 as the list here in the new file name that we've got. So we got saved there. Go ahead and bring you back like this. Actually, we don't need you. Don't save. We need you. And you there. I can't make you any bigger, can I? Large icons. No large text. Cool. So we should see the new file show up here as soon as we run this. Okay, so we'll do cargo run. Here's, okay, so here's high scores. It just showed up. If I open this in Notepad, we see a new line at the very end, and I think that's fine. And then here we see Berserker and 5. Okay, so our serialization worked just fine. All right. So that's happy. So that saves it to disk. Now, if I want to load this from disk, we get the file name here. Okay, so if the file system exists, so if it found this file name, we need to load this file. Now, right now we're doing file system create, and I think there's going to be a file system open. In read-only mode, and I think that's fine for what we need to do. We have to pass it the context and then the path, so the file name. It's going to pass in a result, which gives us a game error, so we can do... Oh, no, we can't do that, because we're just returning a hash map here. So we might need this to be a... like a game over. So then, I don't know if I want to like unwrap this, because that would cause like a big error. I think we're just going to do something very similar to this undo. So we're going to do a if let or maybe a match. So if I match file system open, we're going to get an OK. And then we're going to get the file. This is going to be the scores file. We need to process, so deserialize deserialize high scores and pass it the high scores file. Otherwise, if there's an error, I don't really care what this error is. I want to just return a brand new hash map. Okay. Now you don't exist yet. Let's fix that. So we're going to take in a file, which is a type file, and we want to return a hash map that has a string and a U128. Okay, so we need to read through this file. How do I do that? So we have read to end, read vectored, read to string. I could read to a string, then I can loop through it, and I can, oh, can I get the lines off of it? Oh, I don't see lines off of this. Oh, is there an iterator off a file? Yeah, I can't get lines off of this. I want to go to File. All right, I want to find out how to kind of get lines from here. Because if I can get the lines, I could then like split off of that and it'll make it really easy. So there's the read to string. Oh, that's not helpful. I feel like this isn't okay. How do I get lines? Let's go search for lines. Okay, so there's an iterator over the lines of a string. An iterator over the lines of an instance of a buff reader. Okay, and a buff read. Can I get a buff read off of File Open? So bytes vector is not exactly right. Doesn't seem exactly what I want. How are we doing it in the other file in here? So we're doing that. Okay, so okay, we have a buff reader, new, get resources, file name. Okay, so we can do buff reader, new, then get resource. Okay, so we need to give it the full path of where it's getting this stuff. Oh, and then file open. So we already have the file that's open. What do you return? You return the file. Okay, so get resource. Okay, so I can do a buff reader and then get lines off of that. So then in here, let's try a buff reader new and hand it the file. Then what do you return? you return a buff reader. Okay, then I can do dot lines. Then I can do dot lines. Then I can do for, this is going to be basically high score like line in lines like this, which is a result string error. So I need to now extract out the result of this. Okay, in here. What is that going to look like? We want to, it's going to be okay or error. If it's an error, we probably just want to skip it. And if it's the string, okay, so we want to create a new hash map. Let mute scores equals hash map new. And then inside of here, okay, we're going to then return scores. Then in here, as part of this for like loop through it, we want to now match the high score line. And in reality, all I really care about is if it's successful. So we can do an if let okay, and then this is going to get the high score. It's really going to be like the raw high score, isn't it? Equals the high score line. So if I now have that, we want to trim this off to get rid of that new line at the very end. So I'm going to do high score dot trim. So that gets rid of that new line at the end. Then we want to split at it can be a character, so we want to split at colon at colon. Okay, so that gives me now an iterator, a pattern. Is it an iterator? It gives me a split iterator. Split. A double-ended iterator. Oh, and then you can collect it. Oh, but then there's really just two of these, right? So I want to do, so if I run like next on it, like next twice will give me the things that I want. Really, that's all I care about. I can collect it into a vector and then get those out as well. I don't know. All of them seem to be fine. So if I do high score, which is, we want this to be a vector of string u128 equals, can I do this, or is it good? It's probably gonna have to be string, isn't it? Dot collect. Oh, right. This is gonna have to be a string like that. A value type vex string cannot be built from iterator over elements of type. Huh, reference string. Really? You can't? Oh, do I have to dot iter this first? Doesn't seem right. Like, okay, so what does split give us? Oh, string slices. That's what I'm getting. Like that. Okay. There you go. So now this should be happy. Then I want to, on this next line, is take out the first one and the second one and sort of like create, well, okay, we want to create the score. We want to extract the score first. So that score is going to be equal to, we need to attempt to cast this string reference into a number, into a U128. So this is going to be high score of position 1. I don't think I can do an into, especially since it doesn't know what it needs to be. So if I do like a U128, I don't think you're going to be happy. Right, because it doesn't know from a string. So we need to like try into. Let's do a try into. Oh, there's no try into? Oh, there's a parse int, right? Okay, yeah, parse. Like that. And then you return a result. Okay, so then I want this to be a dot. I want or, and then let's see. Returns result if the result is error, otherwise returns okay if the value is okay. So then I want this to be 0. So we're going to give you a 0 score in the case that you fail at this. So expected type U128 found enum result. I thought you would return the number. Wait a second. Oh, or returns. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's or else. Oh, it might be an unwrap or else too. Unwrap or else 0. I32. I want you to be U128. Okay, returns the contained OK value or computes it from a closure. Oh, and then the operation. Wait. Is this? Oh, this is a function. So I can do something like that. Closure expects to take 1 argument, but takes 0 arguments. Okay. I don't know if that's the right one to use. But however, that passes. So therefore, we're happy with this. So that gives us the score. It's either going to be the actual score that was in the file or a 0. And then we want to get so that username is going to be equal to high score of position 0 dot. We're going to clone this to make it a full string. Maybe I'll just do a string from. Oh no, I could do dot toOwned. There you go. Now it's a string. And then we want to do our scores dot insert. We have our username and our score. Not that. Score. All right. And so then this should now give us our scores back when we deserialize the high scores, which happens here. So we deserialize the high scores, we pass it in the high scores file. So what are you upset about? Mismatched types expected, a file found in enum. Oh, GGEZ file system file. Oh, interesting. You are a, oh, you're a file system file. That's apparently different. So because of you, oh, this apparently still works because I think it must implement all the traits properly. Okay. So let's see. We load the messages. Sorry, that's messages. We load the scores. So if the file exists, open the file, deserialize the file, and return it. Otherwise, return a brand new hash map. That then comes back to here. And we get our scores. Either it's a brand new score file or it's one that exists already. We're then inserting this one that got created. So here, let's go ahead and not do that. Okay, so then if there's an error, okay, so then we attempt to save the scores. And then return the updated scores. Okay, so scores comes out to here, and then we can see update save scores. We're running this right here. So I actually want to run this when the game ends. So we have this match running state, we have starting soon, we have playing, and then here either chat one or the player one. So here we have scores equals load the scores. And then we have this debug for the scores here. I think that's going to be the next thing we want to test here is that this is properly working. Let's go ahead and like put that in there so it'll be easier for us to see. Oh, and I can probably just panic at this point in time. Just so we get the scores written outward, and it's now this high scores. Do I have you open? I don't think I do. So we have Berserker 5 written in here. If I change this to like a 18, we should see that printed out here in our console. So let's do a cargo. I think test will work for this. Up, you're in play mode. I'll give you something to play with. Here, have this. All right, let's see what happened. here we go. So here's our debug there. Scores, Brookzerker 18. Okay, so we got that. That's perfect. It's an actual, so it's, we got a string. Oh, did he knock it? He knocked it off the ground. Okay. Then, what do I want to do with it? Let's, once we get it to that point, we want to update with the actual scores of like what's been going on. So the idea that we had in ticket is that if you hit, you get 10 points. But every time that you you like put in some, like, I guess, like, so if you're in the we have the teammates and we have the hitters, right? Let's go ahead and remove this panic. So we have the hitting chatters and we have the teammates. And I noticed that we have this remove hitting teammates function here. Okay, so we have hitting chatters and teammates. Up ahead of here are hitting chatters. We want them to be 10 points. Come on. Never mind. And okay, so we load the scores and then we want to increment, like update the scores based upon these, like what happened in here. So I think there's gonna be another function here. So after we get the scores, let's go ahead and run self dot update scores, and we're gonna pass in scores. Thank you, Zilby. Like that. And I think I have to make you passing explicitly as mutable. Nope. No drinking out of that. Oh, you're thirsty? Hold on, I'm gonna get Zilby his water. You could drink right here. Okay, so what are we doing? Where were we? Oh, right, we want to create that function now. Let's go ahead and fold everything so I can find out where to put this. So implement and here. Okay, here's this last function. So we're gonna run update scores. I only need to, so I don't actually need mutable self here. But what we do have is the scores, which is going to be a mute hash map of string NU128. And I'm not going to return anything either. We're going to mutate the scores in place here. So we first have teammates and hitting players. So I'm going to go with the idea that you can get multiple, like every time that you go into teammates, you get a point. And I'm kind of interested. How do I do that? I know that I have remove hitting teammates. I'm slightly worried. I'm slightly worried that I have a that I'm not doing this properly here. I wonder if we should change the credits so that like instead of like the hitting and teammates, we could just do like the points, like the new points that you got. In it could be an order of when like the new points that you have. Ooh, I like that. Which means that we're gonna have like the high score gets passed in here and gets updated, but in self we would have the scores that would be updated as your as we're yeah okay. Then all we care about is like the hitting players, and that's actually we wouldn't care about like the hitting players or at all. We would just increase our scores. So let's say I do this. Let's say in here we have um, score, and this is going to be a hash map of string NU128. Inside of here, we're going to rename this to high score. So score is a hash map new. Okay, so you're happy there. Then we're not going to need any of these things like remove hitting teammates and stuff like that. It's going to be fine. What's going to happen here? So in high score, we're going to have our scores that we're going to be able to loop through and update the scores for each one inside. So we're going to loop through self.score. So for this is going to be username score in self.score. And this should really be scores, self.scores. Then we want to check to see if we can find the username inside of hash map. Then we want to update the score. Otherwise, insert a new one. So there's like it's basically an upsert, but there's a mutation too. And I think is it entry? Gets the key given keys corresponding entry in the map for in-place manipulation, but what does it do if it doesn't exist? Oh, we have the or insert. That's what happens. So entry, character, or insert, and then the value. Okay. So this is the key that goes in here. So the key is going to be the username or insert. And then the default value is going to be, well, here is going to be our score. So score. And then we could then plus equals the score. So that's what happens here. Can I dereference you? No. Okay, so hold on. Hold on. We want you to be... Oh, okay. So or insert 0. Start with 0. This is going to be let. This is going to be our score equals this. Or insert that. We want to dereference. So dereference score plus equals to score, like that. And you need to be mutable, don't you? Can I add a sign? Mute 128 to 28. What do I want to do in this? How does this work again? Like counter equals, so letters. So we have highscore.entry, the keys, that's the username, or insert 0. Okay, so we have that. And then, okay, it's kind of what we want. This is dereference to score plenty. Oh, right. Never mind. Got a problem here. Can't name them the same thing. We shadowed by accident. So this is going to be the I guess we can name this high score. And then we need you to be mutable. Username. Expected a string, found that. Okay, so we need to own you. Cannot add a sign. Mutable reference to a U128 to a U128. So you are a mutable reference to a U128. Wait, do you need to be dereferenced to? Cannot borrow stuff that scores as mutable. Okay, yeah, so then you need to be mutable here. Oh, I guess in this case, you don't need to be mutable like that. Not like that. You don't need to be mutable there. There we go. So then this is high scores, really. And we're getting a high score, like a singular. So high scores. There we go. Okay, so this updates the scores with like the new ones that came in. Okay, so then what that means is that every single time we hit, we have to, every single time somebody drops, we increment them by 1, or their points by 1. And if they hit, they get 10. So that means when you drop, you can get 11 total. Because 1 for the drop, and then 10 more for hitting. So let's first start by when we're in playing. So we receive a chat message from chat. We get the display name. Here, okay, so here we match command new. So go ahead and oh wow, it's 12:11. Time for a snack too. So we get the new chat message coming in. I wonder if this should be part of handle command then. When we handle the command, if some command, oh, I see. Let some command equals this. Then we push, okay, so we push the game objects in if that happens. If not, teammates contains chatter. Right. Okay, so at this point in time, we can give them a point. So we're going to do self dot scores dot. It's really going to be a I guess it has to be we can't do a it has to be an entry, doesn't it? So we have to do let score equals self dot scores dot entry, and we have to pass in the chatter dot name. We're probably gonna have to clone it, but maybe not. Or default 0. So that gives us that score. So then we're gonna do dereference score plus equals 1. There you go. Now, what are you upset about? Expected 0 arguments, found 1. Wait, or is it or insert? Oh, it is or insert. There you go. Or insert 0 and then increase by 1. Chatter name. Okay, so it's moved. We want to clone you. Was it cloned ahead of time? Oh, chatter.name is cloned here. Clone you. 149. Oh. Let's extract the username out. Actually, you know what? We can just do this above. Like right here. Then you'll be happier. Okay, cool. So we're good to go here. Now we're going to increase by 1 point every single time you drop something. Let's actually try this. This should now make it every time we drop, we increase by 1, and we should use that. Oh, we actually aren't using that yet. At the end of the game, we need, so we get the scores file. So we want you to be high scores. We update by passing you in high scores. And then in update scores, we're now going to self.scores. So now we're going to do all this stuff. So that means every time we drop, you should get an increased score. We should be able to play this and see that work. So let's cargo run this. Let's do some drops to get some points. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Utsby. Okay, and I'm gonna add a third one in here. Okay, there we go. So let's go find this file. Okay, so we only got 18 here. Did we not write it? So we update the scores there. We don't write it back to disk. Okay, hold on. So we update the high scores. Now we need to utilities save scores, pass it into context. The scores file name, and then the high scores. And then what do you return? You return a result with a report. So we're in. Okay, so we need to essentially convert, or just probably if let error. Then we're going to just do ePrint line. Error saving high scores to disk. Error. Okay, so then that happens there. This should now save the high scores. Let's try it now. Of course, that assumes is our save scores actually doing this thing. Theoretically, save scores is here. It's supposed to write it all to disk, so that's fine. Find out. So serialized scores, we pass it in. Whatever the scores are here. Okay, so that's perfect. Let's try this again. Up, expected reference, found the full. Okay, so then. So you need to be a reference. No errors. Let's run you. Let's try this again. So I'll do a sword. And you'll do a fire. Then we'll do a snake. And then one more killing blow. Fire 2. Okay, so now, did you get updated? Well, yes, it did, but that didn't work exactly the way I wanted it to. So we have Berserker bot with 1,425, Berserker with 18, and Berserker with 950. That's not exactly right. What happened? First of all, I'm in there. I'm in there twice. Once with a capital B and once with a lowercase b. Interesting. All right, let's. 950 is the one we got before. So I'm gonna empty out this file. I want to try this again. You know, I think test will work here, won't it? If I run the test, it should, like, the score should also update. Let's take a look. We got testbot with 599, testbot 1 with 599, and testbot 2 with 1797. That seems wrong. They didn't send that many commands in. What is going on here? So when we increment the scores, we should, okay, might be good for us to debug when those scores get incremented. Okay, that's interesting that we're not using this. Okay, so here's update, save scores, but in reality, what I want to do here is in handle command, I kind of want to debug. So here we increment the score. Let's debug the scores. See what they are. You have to be a reference. Okay. See what we get out here. Whoa, this is just going up forever. Whoa. Well, that's not cool. Okay, so wrote some bytes to the file, kind of existing forever. Let's go ahead and fix some of these. First of all, wrote some bytes to the file So it's just consistently rewriting that file. That's not what we want. We want to do that once. So down here in library, when we're in chat one, player one, oh, this happens. And it happens many times. Oh, that's what happens. It's consistently hitting that file and updating the scores, adding to them, adding to them, adding to them every single frame. And we want to really like save this once, like do this one time, and that's it. So it does make me wonder. We want to hit you one time and then hit the credits and do that. So we can have a flag for saved scores. So we can have like saved scores to disk. This will be a boolean. And we'll start with false. Then down here at the bottom, we'll do if not self.save scores to disk, then go ahead and do these two things. Load the high scores. Okay, and then here we have like if we don't have a credits. Okay, we can mix this in together because if there's a credits in self.credits, okay, so maybe we can like combine these two things together. We can do this down here. So if we don't have the credits, if we have some of the credits, run them. If we don't have credits, then go ahead and extract out the high scores, update the scores, and then we're going to pass those scores into the credits, so that way they can display them properly. But then this should only happen once now. Oh, and save scores. That needs to happen down here too. Oh, and then this entire if let error equals, how did I get those like far apart? Oh, because this was, oh, that feels weird. Where was this? Okay, so if saving high scores, okay, save high scores. You go right there. There we go. And we want you to happen after we update the scores. So as soon as we start running the credits, get the high scores, update the scores, save the scores, and then do the rest of the credits thing. Okay, so then let's run this as test. And then everything should be fine. Go ahead and remove you. We'll see how long it can last. Not very long usually. All right, I think that's enough. Let's go take a look at our scores. Still a little bit high for what I was expecting. 2,788, 2,786, 6,950, 2,800, 2830. Why is that so high? Random so strong. I know, it is. They're not dropping that many. They're not dropping that many, are they? Okay, I want to get rid of some of these other debug messages that we have, so we can see. Yeah, okay, so self-test scores. The very last time that we got a self-test score is here. It was 3, 2, and 4. I don't see like testbot 4 got a 3. I don't see like a 2 for 1. I don't see a 4 for 2. 3's not in here at all. Oh, here's another scores. Yeah, but it's like 5 now. 4. Okay, so that's. Yeah, it should be a lot. It should be a lot smaller of a number here. So why is this still running so many different times? So we have our update self.update scores. Is this happening multiple times? No, just once. Is save scores happening 2 times? Oh, but one of them is here. Let's just get rid of you. In update scores, we insert 0. It's plus equals, not multiple equals. I kind of want to debug updating scores. This should really only happen near the end. I also want to find all these other debug statements. It's like here's self.scores, remove you. Updating scores, then that's it for there. What else do we have? We have wrote some bytes to the file. Okay, so that's in the utilities. So save. Oh, that's just a print line. I don't really need you. So if I don't need you at all, then this could just be an if let error. Like that. Okay. Game object count. So where are you coming from? Okay, that's just a print line. I don't need you. The player draw system has some stuff. line 35, I believe. Yeah, let's go ahead and remove that debug. All right, let's try this again. Okay, that was really fast. Yeah, I have some more of these sort of print lines that we can get rid of. Let's go ahead and take a look here. What do we got? Still pretty high. Absurdly high. I think this is the player life system. Okay, so here we have updating scores. Let's go find out where we have the player life system. Doing that. Yeah, okay, so we don't want you anymore. Don't want you anymore. I think there was a game object physics system. Oh, like the snake physics system. Yeah, okay, so here this snake hit ground, velocity now, so we don't want you. So this player has X lives left. I think we got rid of that. Snake hit ground. Snake landed. Yes, then we want you. I don't need that at all. Okay, so those are good. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so we got no more of these, so perfect. And updating scores only ran once, so we know that's only running that and saving it one time. Well, okay, updating it one time. Let's see what we got here. So in our config, that's a huge number still. I kind of want to, can I open you? Open you here. Okay, so we should be able to see this update in real time. And I can even delete you, save you, run this again. We should see that sort of happen as soon as it saves to disk. And that way, if it saves early, I think VS Code is updating behind the scenes. Although it may have to like be in the file for it to update. There. Hey, there it goes. Was it because I had to open a notepad? That seems right. This seems exactly what we want it to be. Okay, so that ends. Okay, and we're happy here if we come back and we do open you with Notepad. Yeah, you're correct. Okay, so apparently, now if I run you again with your value still in here, what happens? Is it going to like do something weird with it? we should see the numbers increase because these same bots are playing with us. But not like to some thousands of amounts. Yeah, okay, that looks about right. I think that is working then. Okay, so then I want to update the credits. I want the list of credits to basically be your username, and then the points you got from this game, and then maybe your high score. So we can figure out like what that ends up looking like. But I need to take a really quick break to use the restroom, and I think lunch is coming up for me pretty shortly. So um, I want to take like maybe 5 minutes or less or so. I'll be right back. Where's my break time? There's my break time. All right, I'll be back in a minute or two. All right, and I am back. Oh, I need to turn on my main camera again. Oh, and I'm going to switch over to standing mode too. I've been sitting all morning. Zilby got taken away to go have lunch, so he might be back. But my lunch here is a not so green smoothie. Is a high score meant to be all points scored over all games or the highest score in any one game? I'm thinking this is going to be cumulative across all the games. So as we play it, your scores are going to get higher and higher and higher over time. But I want to be able to show like, okay, who got the highest score of this game in the credits, and then who has the highest score like overall. If that makes sense. And so what we can do is pass both of these scores into our library here. So when we create the credits, we can pass both scores and high scores. So in credits new, let's come over to credits here. We don't need you anymore. So when we create a new credits, we're gonna need to have the high scores, which is just a reference to a hash map. String and U128. Then we're also going to want just the scores from this game. So then this way I can now loop through all the scores from this game and then show you what was your score, and then what is the new high score that you have. So what is that going to look like? We have all credits. We have the chatters who hit. So I'm thinking now. So we have the game over text. Create the credit with the snarky message. We have the space, and then we have the chatters who hit. And this can just be and like and you like it's all viewer like so it's gonna be chatters, and then we're gonna have I wonder if I should have like one more to sort of show like, oh, it's gonna be your maybe in here like we have score to total high score. I don't know if that makes sense. But if we do something like this, then we're going to loop through instead of looping through the hitting chatters, we're going to loop through all of the scores. So scores that iter for each. We're going to get, oh, not that. The username and the score. And then here it's going to be title is now going to be, that's just title equals format. So we're going to have the username. We'll have the score, and then we'll have the total. Okay, so then this is gonna maybe be a little bit more difficult. We have to figure out what our well, I guess here we have score. And then the final one is we have to get like what the new high score is. So let high score equals this is gonna be high scores dot they're gonna get returns a reference to the value corresponding to the key, but it's an option. Okay, and then it can be or 0. So we're going to give it the username. Do not that. think it's just or else. I don't want to return an option. How about or? No, that returns an option. Dot okay or? That returns a result. Okay or else? That returns a result. Is it unwrap? That unwrap or? Utsby, time to go make Sunday pizza. Awesome. Have a great pizza. That sounds great. See you tomorrow or later in the week. Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great pizza. Sounds really good. Let's try unwrap or. Okay, here we go. Then this unwraps or's 0. It's like you have 0 points if you don't get this. So there we go. So then, okay, now we have this high score here, and so we can put in high score. Expect a reference to UH128. Oh, I can give it score. Like that. Okay. Then here in title is going to be a reference to title. Then if teammates, we don't need this entire teammates thing at all anymore. So if I do this and we run this with test, how does this look? Nothing, because we got errors. Right, we need to now pass in the... Where do you want it? You want it in the middle? Oh, high scores and scores at the very end here. So high scores, that's going to be high scores like that. We want you to be a reference, and then a reference to self.scores. All right, no errors. Let's go ahead and run this. Hey, there we go. It looks good. So now we can see that we get the scores in there. So that's perfect. Now, I don't know if that's exactly how we want it to look, but the scores are actually displaying the way we want them to now. So I think that's good. And if we go take a look at that file, the file will be updated. So if I play that again, that'll be all good. Now, one other thing is I don't want the test scores to like constantly be in there now, because that's gonna kind of suck. That being said, it's not that terrible of a thing, because I'm only showing credits for the people who participated. But I wonder if I can have the scores file name change depending upon if it's a test or not. Because if I do something like, we want this to be high scores, but if we change that to be like, depending upon if we're in the test environment or not, does it even matter? I don't know if it matters. We may just be able to leave it exactly as is. Let's play a game, and let's just play a game on our own, and we'll try and sort of see how it ends up looking. Because those scores shouldn't matter. If we take a look here, oh, I've closed that up. Reopen you. So yeah, here's the high scores that we have right now. I want to get rid of this. I don't need to get rid of it. We can leave these in, replay this, except this time let's do cargo run. We'll play a full game. Which means you all can join in. I'll join in too and give myself a score. I'll do a sword. Give myself a little bit of time to drink my lunch while I'm trying to avoid things. I'll give my bot a point too. Okay. Now we should see Zerker and Brickzerker bot, and that's it. And we see, okay, I got 1 point. I'm at 1. Brickzerker bot's 3 and at 3. Oh, perfect. I like that. So now we can see our points go up over time as we play the game. Excellent. And I think that's pretty much going to be it for this feature. Let's go ahead and clean up all these warnings. So we're not using these anymore, which means we should get rid of them. So if we get rid of you there, we need teammates and hitting chatters. You go away. We're not using you. We don't need you. Or you. Right, we don't need this get read-only scores. We have, it's a little bit easier we have some other ways to get that. And then that's it. No errors, no warnings. We're ready to go. Okay, let's do one last play of the game. Make sure everything is going well. So, cargo run. Let's run this in production mode. So what is it? Release. This may not work. Oh, I guess it does. It was able to load all the files, all the assets, because it copied over into the right folder. So perfect. It should still use the same files for that. So let's go ahead and get some drops in here. And there we go. Perfect, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and button this up and get it pull requested in. I'm going to go ahead and push you up. And let's go ahead and pull request into master. Don't need you anymore. Okay, so first of all, this is going to be completes, like fixes. 9, and then we're going to say that this, okay, so this pull request adds persistent scores to the game. Windows, the file is stored at, let's see if we can find it. Okay, where is this? This is C users username app data roaming. Then I guess username. Oh, I wonder if it's gonna be like this in everybody's system. Okay, so then slash I scores. But only if the user was present during the game. So let's create that pull request. Okay, so here we go. Files changed. So in credits, let's see, this is all fine. Guess we're changing it now to this style because we ran Rust format. Right, we're removing the hidden chatters and teammates and replacing that. We also are now having like chatters, their score and their total. And then iterating over the high scores instead of the chatters who hit. That's happy. Okay, we removed a bunch of the debug commands. Collection hash map. Right, so we need to add that in. Okay, so we add in our new file name where we care about this. Storing the scores. interface thing. This is in handle command. You know something, if we're not taking those teammates in anymore, we don't need the teammates here. We don't need to use that. So let's go ahead and update that. So in the main library, we don't need teammates or hidden chatters anymore. Just not something we need to use. So if we do that, I don't need you, don't need you. Now we don't need you because you're, let's see. So if teammates contains chatter, push, so we don't need to do you at all. Remove hitting teammates. We don't need to remove hitting teammates anymore. We just have our scores system. For you, okay, so then when a player is hit by an object, Chedev, hello! Oh, you changed your name. Wait. Cheddar? Chad. Okay. All right. I was wondering. Hey, Chad. Okay. So if self-the-hitting players iterate this, so we don't need to do this at all. Nobody understood Chad with UHC. Well, I guess that makes sense to me. That was like mostly inside, right? Like inside information. Like I know it's you, but I also know you. I've worked with you. Okay, so down here, we don't need to remove hitting teammates anymore. It's supposed to be confusing, but not that confusing. Okay, perfect. That removes all of that. So let's go ahead and update our pull request. This is going to be removed hitting and teammates. So hitting, chatters, and teammates list. We are now tracking scores. One more interruption for cat petting. Oh, cat petting. The cat went downstairs earlier to get food. And he hasn't snuck back up in here yet. So I think he might still be having lunch. Or he might be hanging out with my wife. So unfortunately the cat's not here. I'll leave that up. I'll leave the reward request up. And so if Zilby comes in, we'll pet the cat. In the meantime, first glass down. I can move on to my second one. Oh, that's right. I thought he was in his cat tower. It was a small cam. Am I? Oh yeah, and actually, I'm. He was hanging out. Switch this back over. Come on, cable. Stop pulling. There's his empty cat tower. When he comes back in, maybe he'll play around. Okay, so there is something else I just realized. we're not, when we hit, we want to increment our scores by 10. So that way it's not just whenever you're helping out, like putting something in, we want to go up by 10 when you hit. So we have that. In update, okay, in plain, okay, player hit object event, and we get the chatter who hit. Perfect. So we send a message, stream was hit by blah, okay. Let's now give that streamer 10 points. So we need to, well, we can do that extraction. So we can do let score equals self.scores.extend. Is it extend? Did I get that wrong? Dot. Entry. I think it's entry. That's what I want. Entry. Okay, then we want their username. So that's gonna be chatter dot name. And then or insert. No, not or default. Or insert. You get 0 if you don't have anything already. And then we're gonna dereference score plus equals to 10. There you go. Okay, no errors with that. Let's go ahead and play this and see our scores go up by a bit. Let's also change this message. So we can maybe make this be hit the chatter name gets 10 points. And there we go. That's perfect there. Also, when we start the game, here, chat first streamer game started. Use the command on screen to drop objects that the streamer will attempt to avoid. You get 1 point for every object you drop, and 10 points for every time you hit the player. Okay, so let's save that. Let's go ahead and try this. Cargo run. There we go. So we got the instruction there. You know, it might be good to like maybe have the instructions written out here too. I don't know. I kind of also like it in chat. But let's give this a shot. Let's see how this works. I'll give myself some points. Snake. Yeah, okay, perfect. I got 10 points. And so now, yeah, now I have 34 points in total, but I got 32 points this game. Excellent. I wonder if I should make the credits slower so we can appreciate the points a little bit more. Probably just like 2.0. I think that'll be good. So let's go ahead and update that pull request. So when getting hit, when hitting, when a chatter hits the player, they get 10 points. And I'll push that up. You should, there you go, refresh. So we just updated you to slow down a little bit. We updated the send to chat message. We also have a message, slightly different message when they get hit. And then that should be new. We give them 10 more points. Snake physics, we took out the print lines. Utilities, sort of Rust format stuff. Okay, we added load scores to load the scores up from the file. We also added serialized hash map and deserialized high scores. All right. And then finally, the library here. All right, I think we're good to go. So then we're good to go into masters. Let's merge this in. This was off of number 9. Save score to disk. And so we can close the issue. All right. We've done a thing. How close are we getting? We have 2 issues left. We have create instructions for setting up the game locally and release the game. The release of the game is going to be more interesting because we need to, as part of this, getting a release build for Windows is not that big of a deal. Mac and Linux for me, like I have a Linux machine and I have my work Mac computer. I don't have Rust and that kind of stuff installed on it, so I may have to deal with that. I don't want to use it for this type of stuff though, so I may have to figure out some other Mac solution. Maybe use my wife's Mac or something. And then once I get that, host the file somewhere, put the download link in a README, and then we're pretty much good to go, and we're at 1.0. And then we get to decide whether or not we want to continue working on this or move on to the next thing. So with that being done, let's see what we got here. I think we're pretty much good to go. I'm feeling kind of tired, and I need to finish my lunch, and I don't know, figure out whatever else I'm doing this afternoon on this snowy day. Probably go hang out with Zilby more. In fact, yeah, Zilby didn't come up this afternoon, so sorry, Chad. I'll give you your points back. Do refund. Okay, so the plan is tomorrow morning we're going to work on documentation, and we're gonna work on compiling and sort of preparing to get ourselves out there, and then we'll be good to go. And like we could probably work on some of these other issues if we want to. Oh, look who showed. Hello, kitty. He didn't quite make the jump. He hit the edge of the desk and fell down. I have a towel here on the edge so that he has something to grab onto, but he didn't jump far enough onto it, so he just grabbed it and sort of did that entire sliding backwards thing. But Chad, if you're still here, oh yeah, we have kitty cat. Where are you going? What did you do? You refreshed my screen. All right, he came here because he wanted to hang out on the computer. Let's see, what options do I have? I know, although that computer is barely being used today, so he doesn't. It's probably not as warm as one would think, but it's a great decoy because I'm not using it actively, but you know it's a keyboard. He loves to sit on keyboards and walk across them. It's even worse with this computer because it's got a touch screen, and so he can activate that. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by and watching. This was a great, I think, a great issue for us to work on today, especially because it was like a longer day. We got to spend more time on it. Probably would have taken like the better part of a week to get done if we were only able to work like a little hour or two at a time, or an hour at a time on it. So tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, I'll be back. I'll be back every weekday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll be working on this until we get the 1.0 release, which is really shortly. So I expect by the end of the week, we'll have the documentation set up and we'll have figured out the compiling. So we could try cross-compiling from Windows to like Mac and Linux too. We'll see how that ends up working out. We'll want to test it as well. I'm thinking that I'm going to want to continue working on this because I really want to get this AI that can play as the streamer. I think that would be really fun to be able to do. Anyways, with that, I hope that you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you next time. And with that, bye.